I'm Olimisi Adapa. Thank you for joining in. You've been following, right? So we've been setting the pace, and I had Ihanyi in the house. We talked extensively last week. This week we're still setting the pace. Jean-Marie, we set it up for that. Yeah. This time around we're talking finances. No finance, no romance is what they say. And especially in these crazy times, tough times where you really need a whole lot of wisdom. You need all you can get, just to put things right, set the finances in motion and all of that, and prep up for the year, and just go into the year with a clear head, a clean head, into expenditure and stuff. I'm not doing this alone. I cannot do this all by myself. I mean, I could just share head knowledge and all of that. Maybe experience, maybe. But I've got with me a friend of mine who hasn't been into the men's room in a long time. In a long time, I say. Finally got him in here, and it promises to be fun with Zeal in the house. Hey, Zeal, how you doing?
Fine, thank you. Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, Zeal has a whole lot of knowledge in this area, so he's going to be sharing with us and just how to... he's going to be sharing with us on investments and savings and just how to navigate these crazy times we're in financially. Right here in the men's room, we'll take a break, and when we come back, Zeal will take center stage. How about that? Stay with us. We need to pay the school fees. We need to buy the clothes will still need to be bought. Food will still need to be bought. We'll need to pay rent. We'll need to maintain the cars. Kinds of things, all kinds of stuff crying and begging for our attention. We'll need to hang out. What they call disposable income. Disposable income. Yeah, that's what it's called. We'll still need to do all of that. But how can we do that with what is going on right now? The economic downturn, folks losing their jobs, job cuts, and for those who are still maintaining the job, salary cuts and all of that. In the midst of all of this, we still have a whole lot of people who are having a ball. I mean, they are living their life, yeah? At the same time, a whole lot of others are just getting on by. Zeal is here, like I said earlier on, and we're just going to talk through just what it takes, the mindset, and what to do to scale these times, survive these times, and pull through and still keep a clear head and keep heads above water, so to speak. Hey, Zeal, once again, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so the times are crazy. The times are demanding. The times are trying for family, for people.
As much flack as possible. Some of us, I won't say a lot, but some of us got very used to a certain lifestyle, a certain spending pattern, and because your disposable income was relatively high, you could absorb quite a lot of shock. But these days, with the soaring costs of everything, and incomes are not increasing, costs are going up, I would say the very first thing to do is to reduce the unnecessary expenses. Now, I say that, like my friend would say, with all sense of responsibility, because nobody ever admits or believes that they have unnecessary expenses.
I was just going to go there to say, what is unnecessary?
Oh, there's a lot of it, because you see, for me, luckily for me, before this, living expenses to less than 40% of what I was used to. Wow. If you had told me it was possible, I would have told you it's not. And there is no significant change to my lifestyle. You're not going to notice anything. So a lot of things I did, let me use myself as an example, a lot of things I did in the past which I believed were necessary. Over time, you start to find out they are not.
Yeah. Really. What were these things? Would you want to share with us?
Okay, let me give you a personal example. Right? I had a problem with a TV set in my house. Right? In the past, I would have just driven out and bought another one. And that would have been it. A good chunk of money would have gone down the drain there. But this TV set went bad. I tried to fix it. We couldn't fix it. It's still at home. I haven't replaced it. I haven't fixed it.
It's still there.
But it's not working. But I don't lack a TV in my house, if you know what I mean. So this was the third TV set in the house that went bad. Now, thinking about it now, why do I need 3 TV sets in the
Yeah.
house? There was another example. There was a transaction I was on, and I was required to bring a sample of a certain product. That product was only available in the UK. And they told me on a Thursday I needed to submit that sample by Tuesday, otherwise I'll be disqualified. Now, if I had the money, on Friday I would have flown to the UK, gotten the sample and come back. And that would have been a justified and reasonable expense, because it's towards making
Business,
money.
making extra change.
But I didn't have the money to travel. And so, because I didn't have the money, I was forced to look. I don't like borrowing, so that was not even an option. I was forced to look at another alternative. So what did I do? I called the company to negotiate for more time. And guess what? They agreed.
Wow.
They said, okay, fine, we'll give you an extra 10 days.
Okay.
And in those 10 days, I was able to place the order online and get it here. The options you have till you are forced to take those options. Left to me, if I had the money in my pocket, if I had disposable income of a certain amount, it would have been a justified. I wouldn't even have felt like I was wasting money.
Yes, because you look at it from an investment perspective, as in, hey, look,
Exactly.
this should yield at the end of the day.
Exactly. It forces you to think of alternative solutions other than spending money. I sat with somebody to
School here in Lagos and sent them to Abuja and just kept them there, and for him that was one way of cutting down bills and all of that. Again, it's difficult for others to be able to relocate or change schools.
I mean, it's not, there isn't, everybody's circumstance is peculiar. So there's no one size fits all. I'll tell you, for example, for the circles we move in, you have weddings every other weekend for which this ashrebi and that ashrebi and this party and that. And you just find that those little things add up to quite a lot. It depletes you gradually. And then people coming out and, oh, I need help with this. You lend people money, they don't pay you back, you give it up. All those little things over time add up to quite a lot. I'm all for, no matter how bad things are, if I see people who are in a worse position than me, I will help them. That doesn't count. For me, that's not an expense, that's an investment as far as I'm concerned. But there are a lot of other little places in all. I mean, for example, I used to eat out a lot. Now, if you work out what's eating out, even let's say twice a week, 2 meals a week, 8 meals a month, multiply that by anything you like, you'll be talking of quite a lot of money a year.
That's a sizable chunk.
Exactly. You talk about the days when we used to go out at night, you go clubbing,
hang out.
Hang out, you know. It's time to pay. You say, oh guys, don't worry, I'll take the tab. You know, you check all those things over time. Those little things, trickles here and there, add up to quite a lot. So I've just learned that, look, before I make, for example, I'm probably the only person in the financial sector who does not have internet banking.
Really?
I don't have internet banking, so you can call me from Calabar or from Kafanchan that you are dying. I need to transfer money on Friday night. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Tell Jeff
I'm
to just
sorry. I really would not. I can't. I don't have internet banking. It's so bad. I lost my ATM card, and I never replaced it. I don't have an ATM card.
Why? Why don't you? This is deliberate.
It's deliberate now because, for
Especially
example,
for the internet banking.
For me, it's very deliberate. It's some people will say and those who know me personally know I'm not a stingy person. It's the only way I can control myself. So I walk into a store and I see something, that impulse of I want it, I want to buy it.
Buying.
I don't have an ATM card. So it needs to be really important for me to leave the store, drive to the bank, withdraw money through Lagos heat and Lagos traffic, and then go back and buy it. You know, by the time you've gotten to the bank, you're already so tired and say, look, you know what, it's not that important. You know, so for me, this is what I have done personally to control my own personal expenditure. That's what I've done. It's worked for me. Everybody needs to work out what works for them. You know, this worked for me because I'm a rather impulsive person, and that ATM card.
It was designed for people like you. Yeah. The men's room right here, and Zeal Akaraiwe just sharing with us his personal experience on setting the pace financially, what to cut out and all of that, and how to live through these times, navigate through the demanding times and all of that. Yeah, especially for us men, as a whole lot of things are expected of us now. Every now and then, the wife comes in to support, to just be like the buffer and all of that. But ultimately, we need to step up to the plate and play our game right and play it tight. What do you make of budgeting? I mean, it is said that in these times you need to know what works, know what doesn't work, what do we need, and all of that, make a budget. It's hard for a whole lot of people to budget.
It's very hard. Budgeting, and I mean, the crux of the whole thing regarding cutting down on your expenditure, and it's all about discipline. It's about being able to tell yourself no. That's discipline. I can, but I don't need to, or I shouldn't. It's self-discipline. When nobody is holding a stick over you, can you hold a stick over yourself? And budgeting is a very painful process, but if you can go through that process on your own by yourself, it helps. You know, I'm living within a strict budget, I'm doing this, and that, and that's what I'm doing.
But there you are, living with that strict budget. This has been set up for this has been set up for this, and some other crazy need, some need now, not one, comes up, and there you are.
Again, like I said, remember, it's personal to everybody. There are some things that no matter what comes up, there are certain things I have categories for. I do not negotiate. If it comes to the health of my family, and if it comes to feeding, I don't negotiate those things. Those things must be done. Delays can be expensive. Everything else is a negotiation. Every other thing is a negotiation. So it again, like I need to emphasize, it's all about personal discipline. There are many things we do. If you budget and you have a list and you draw it out, it's easy to look at things on a piece of paper and ask yourself, do I really need this? And it's not about depriving yourself. It could be, do I need this at this time? There are many of our quote and unquote needs that dissipate with time. You see it, you feel like you would die if you don't get it today. After 2 or 3 days, you didn't get it, you didn't die, you don't know what happened to it, but it's gone. If you had spent on it, the money would be gone. So there are some things like that you just have to discipline yourself and say, do I need this at this time? Can this wait another week, another 2 weeks? Must I do it today? So it's, again, you need to prioritize. So and all that, again, is still discipline.
Yeah. Okay, so at what point would you, because there you are with kids who know little or nothing of what's going on. All they want is, I want this, I need, in fact, I want this, please can we buy this? And you're faced with this, just like you had to cut down a whole lot of things. How do you explain to the kids on, hey, look, we can't afford this? Would that make you look less of a man or less of a father? Because they see their mates in school. They see others in school with this, with that. They come and say, we went to this place, and what you'll have to say is, hey, look, cut it down. We can't go there because... So would you say it's in order to be able to, quote unquote, school the kids on the need to be meager?
It depends on the age of your kids. Of course, it depends largely on the age of your kids and how much they understand. But I've found that my kids, they're pretty young. It's not very difficult to turn it into a negotiation or shelve some of what they want. They come back, oh, Daddy, I want this. And I'm like, okay, why do you want it? I want it because this, because this, because that. Okay, great. You'll get it, but you'll get it on your next birthday. Or you get it at the end of the month, or you get it some other time. Or, there's, as kids usually don't come with a pressing need. It's almost always a want. But for me, what I've found is that looking at the expenses in my family, what the kids consume is not significant. A lot of the expense was on me. Between me and running the house, there are some things about running the house you can't negotiate down school fees. I mean, so I know a lot of people that have changed their kids' schools.
Oh yes, of course.
I know people that have moved houses. Where they are living was more, so you are living somewhere, you are paying in dollars. You're like, look, it doesn't make sense. I was in my friend's office 2 days ago, and he was telling me he lives in Port Harcourt, and he had a flat in VI. a $30,000 a year flat, which he kept so that whenever he's in Lagos very often, every other weekend and all that. But he wrote the landlord and said, sorry, sir, kole work. This thing, I can't.
Get it.
And the landlord wrote him back and said, okay, will you pay 5 million naira?
What?
Yeah, he was shocked. He was very shocked. Yes. And so what went through
From
his mind was
15,000?
for 30,000. When it was, okay, look at it this way. 3 years ago when he took the place at $30,000, that was about 5 million naira.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. Well, today 30,000 naira is 15 million. He said it's not going to work. And the landlord is happy to take 5 million. Just by negotiating. If he did not negotiate, he was not even planning to negotiate, to be honest. He actually just said, I'm not doing anymore.
Yeah.
So there are some of these expenses that if we negotiate, will drop. But some of us do not know they are negotiable. Some of us think, oh, this is the bill, let me pay. If you
we just shut it down.
we just shut it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are many things I'm sure we can negotiate. Yeah.
I'll give you my personal story. So there I was with this huge chunk of school fees to pay, and I'm like, gosh, you know, these kids will just have to stay home until I'm able to rustle up the cash to pay, to pay off and all of that. And I went to the school the following day, and I'm like, hey, look, this is it. No, okay, the day they resumed, I'm like, this is a situation. This is my expectation. Two things. They'll either stay home until I get it paid, or if you don't mind, they can start and then I pay off. And they were like, sure, of course. In fact, they were open to installmental payment.
See my friend at the other end of town, and then you don't call to check if he's home, and you drive all the way to the other end of town and he's not at home, and then you drive all the way back, and you can there's some things for me. See, personally, I'm lucky, and I'll say it, I'm not, those of us here, we're not the average Nigerians. We're not. We live significantly above minimum wage. Even when we complain things are hard, you can't really complain like the average Nigerian would. So we're more or less privileged. So what we need to cut down is just the excess. There's a lot of excess. We don't need to cut down into a manner that actually affects your standard of living. Most of us just need to reduce the excess, and the excesses we have, like you said, running up and down the place. Oh, somebody's having a party in Abeokuta, I really can't make it. Okay, let me just dash down and apologize and come back. we did those things. I just dash down, come back, half a tank of fuel, maybe 6,000 naira. It's gone. It's just gone. If the person is really close and you believe is worth it, by all means, if you can afford it, do it. Like I said, don't, as much as possible, cut the excess. Don't sacrifice your standard of living. Don't sacrifice your friendships. Don't sacrifice your health. No. For me, that's the rock bottom. Don't go below that. But anything that's an excess.
A friend of mine I was talking with 2 days ago says he hadn't used his ML, right? ML, yeah. He hadn't used it in forever. I mean, he hasn't used it in a long while because he just realized there's no need for it. I mean, the fuel it guzzles and all the repairs and all of that, it's just sticking to the other one, So I guess so. It's go on.
So for me, there's a secret I found. It's something I've realized. It almost always works.
Okay, hold up on that secret. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, Zeal will share with us what the secret is. Don't forget, we're setting the pace for us men, and we're looking at the finances now, the financials, because that's what it all boils down to. Like they say, ka-ching, and all.
It works for me. It's always worked for me. Now, the first thing is, when we go through, some of us, when we go through a lot of financial pressure, it's not usually financial pressure on the present. It's financial pressure on the future. On things we want to do or we think we need to do later and we can't afford it today. And it puts you under pressure today. And, even in the Lord's Prayer, it says, give us our daily bread. I usually come back and ask myself, do I have everything I need for today? If the answer to that is yes, great,
All good.
All good. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and somehow I've gotten by all the time. Second thing is...
Now that's key. Do I have what I need for today? I just wanted to sink. That's it. That's it. Yeah, cool.
Second thing is, I believe very much in God.
Okay.
And I believe in lending God money.
Hmm. How does that work?
I find the people who, if you help them, they would believe. I actually wanted to call it the angel project. I haven't quite started it, but you find people who, if you helped foreign exchange, you're king. It's not easy, but if that were possible, oh my, that would be the best.
The people there are still earning foreign
Of
exchange.
course,
Yeah.
of course.
Maybe the bankers, maybe. I'm just saying, just maybe. All right. So, what would you say about
But advice I give everybody is, as long as your organization allows it, within the boundaries that you have, you should have another source of income. And some of these sources of income do not require an active investment of your time.
Yeah, there we go.
It could be simply a friend is running something, you have some disposable income, you can invest in that person's company to scale it up so you get stuff back. That is one option. You could go into something, we're on radio today, you see an opportunity to sell wigs, for example. There's nothing stops you from going into another source of income. And I think everybody should have at least 2 or 3 sources of income where it's possible.
I've always said it's okay to